Hello, everyone. My name is Shannae Ingleton Smith. I'm going to be moderating today's panel. I'm the co-founder of Kensington Gray Agency. We're an influencer management agency that reps Black and Brown talent. I'm excited to be here today. We have Monique Francis, the head of marketing at HOORAE. And if you would like, you can say a few things about yourself, your background, and what you do at HOORAE.
Sure. I come from entertainment marketing background, spent most of my career working on the agency side, but getting the opportunity to work at this incredible company I couldn't say no to, especially working with Issa. We have a really multifaceted company. HOORAE actually comprises three plus companies, I'll say. We have Color Creative, our talent management and production company, Radio, our Audio Everywhere company, which includes both music and audio storytelling, podcasts, etc. And then we also have, of course, our film and TV business, but have expanded into building back up more of our digital storytelling experiences, and supporting Issa's other businesses like her hair care line, her Prosecco line, and a forthcoming line that we've had. We're so lucky to work with these two wonderful people on as well.
Love that. And so next we have Gabrielle Shirdan, who's the founder of Kitchen Table and co-founder of Loom Holdings.
Hi, everyone. I am Gabrielle Shirdan. Am I doing this right? No, I'm kidding. I'm Gabrielle Shirdan. I'm the founder of Kitchen Table, which is a full-service marketing firm that focuses on brands that are founded by people of color. I say this all the time, and Dabo actually coined the phrase, taking our expertise of Madison Avenue and bringing it down to MLK Boulevard, where we are privileged to work with some incredible clients, including Monique and Issa and all of her beautiful, beautiful brands that are aimed at changing the world. I'm also the co-founder of Loom Holdings, which we actually were on this stage the other day announcing for the first time, and that is the first Black and woman-owned holding company in the advertising space. So shaking it up here at Cannes, and truly a holding company built to diversify, dimensionalize, and democratize the advertising industry, creating a powerhouse of creative companies. And my incredible co-founder, Dabo Che, whose birthday it is today as well.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Black people.
Happy birthday.
And without further ado, the man of the day, Dabo Che.
Thank y'all. I've really needed that. I am Dabo Che, the founder and CEO of Che Creative, and also the co-founder of Loom Holdings. A little bit more about that. We have not only Kitchen Table and Che Creative as the two agencies that sit side by side, sister agencies, but we also have a music studio called Love Song that was created because we're very intentional about working not only within the culture, but have the culture work within our organizations. And when we were looking for a Black-owned music studio to do the music for us in the space, there was really none to be found. And for me, that was crazy, right? Like, we're not going music, y'all. Like, music, this is getting ridiculous. So what Gabrielle have decided that we're really good at and what we will continue to do is to make space for us where there wasn't any before. And so we started Love Song Music, which does all our original content creation from a music standpoint for all of our content, and also as well as works outside of our ecosystem to work in the music industry with other advertising agencies. And then we also have Cultureport, which is a strategy, insights, data, and trend company, really top funnel stuff to reel in some of those other clients that don't know what they're doing yet. But yeah, so that's a little bit more about me.
Thank you. And we have JB Smoove, a multi-hyphenate writer, comedian, and actor. We wanted to bring in the talent perspective as well. So if you want to tell us a little bit about what you've been up to lately.
Oh, this is great. It's good to be here. Hello, ladies. Hello, everybody. This is great. This guy right here, I've known this guy for 20-something years now. I've seen his growth, and this is just us reconnecting on this platform with business and things that we are passionate about. We have our company outside of my acting, my stand-up, my producing stuff I do. We also have a production company that we just started called Alternate Side Productions. A lot of people don't know that I've been heavily involved in the branded space and the ad space for years. I've probably done maybe 20 different commercials, been a spokesperson for numerous products. And now with Alternate Side, we are able to dive in and help brands sell their products in a cool way, and that's what I do. Every commercial you ever see me in, I either wrote it, we co-produce it, which gives us a direct connection to these brands. And I bleed that off to every organization that I speak to. I do speaking engagements. I'm heavily involved with the Boys and Girls Club on a national level. And I just infuse all my knowledge and I give it all to them. No matter how fast the world is going, you got to have a balance of old and new school. You have to understand how we got here. And that's the intangibles. Be it on time, stay late, learn, ask questions, not just get in and out and want everything in a moment. I'm about learning from everything. So happy to be here.
Love that. Thank you so much. So let's get into these questions. So
To introduce yourself.
okay, I guess I could say. So I'm the co-founder of Kensington Gray Agency. We're probably the largest Black-owned influencer management firm that represents about 100 creators exclusively across every intersection of what it means to be Black, because of course we're not a monolith. We also have a small but mighty brand partnerships division that works with some of the biggest and most powerful brands in the space. And we just celebrated 5 years. I'm one half, so I'm the co-founder. Started with my husband. Do not recommend. Just joking. Just joking. Actually, just joking. This has been an amazing ride. We started in 2019 before, the world changed. And when 2020 rolled around, we were sort of top of mind for everyone that was all of a sudden, reflecting and wanting to work with Black creators. And since then, we have built a team of about 45 people in Canada and the US. And over 100 exclusive talent and a long list of clients in every category. So thank you. So let's get into these questions. Sorry, maybe it's a Pisces in me. So Gabrielle and Dabo, both of you have, a rich history in advertising, and you started Heirloom Holdings. What inspired you starting Heirloom Holdings, and how does it differ from some of your other ventures and the other work that you've done?
There's a lot of things that inspired it. Whether it was watching my mother build her business from our dining room table, which led to kitchen table, and then realizing that we're going to need a bigger table, y'all, because there is a lot of seats to pull up. And, for us, it wasn't just about having, one name on one door, but to create a building or the whole block, a whole center city of buildings for more tables to be created, for more seats to be pulled up, and to, as Dabo says, to create space where there is none, so we can continue to elevate the narratives of Black and brown brilliance. And I think, it's important that there is, I say it all the time, we can't just represent the culture. Brands cannot just cast diverse talent. There needs to be equity and ownership in order to maintain the authenticity and value and longevity, perhaps, of our stories. And so there's a lot that goes into why we did this. I think really also just elevating the caliber of creative that culture represents in the world is a big thing, right? It can't just be small. It can't just be, oh, that was cool. It can't be just the small budget thing. And so it's important that we are creating an ecosystem or a powerhouse, rather, of creative companies that have culture literally built into their DNA. And from that root, so much can grow. And maybe that's the heirloom layup. I'm going to pass it to you to add into that.
a big for me, the light bulb went off when, as an agency owner, I started to think about the long-term play. What does my finish look like here? And that's kind of weird to think, because when you start a business, you're like excited and you're solving a problem and you're trying to address a need, and you want to make money and you want to hire people and do all these things. But the question starts to beg, and some of the things that we're not taught in business is that, well, how do you finish? What does the exit look like? Because you're not going to work until the wheels fall off. You're going to want to find an exit strategy. Even as a multi-business entrepreneur, right? You're looking for your exit. What is the exit strategy? And as I started to think about my agency holds my name to it. It is literally my middle name. It is my son's middle name. It is the name that my father and mother gave me. And there was purpose at the center of this agency. It was to create opportunity, to create excellence in our community, in our space, to tell our stories in ways that they haven't been told before. And usually the trajectory for selling your ad agency is you scale it. You find a holding company buyer. You determine a multiple, and then you sell it, and you're off, sipping Mai Tais. But because we, both collectively had purpose at the center of our businesses, the thought of selling it off to a holding company that did not have that same purpose at the center of what their intention was with their business felt like I was creating something for no reason that was eventually going to die. And that didn't sit well with me. So as opposed to becoming the seller, we decided, well, what if we became the buyers? And that changes the trajectory immensely. You suddenly started looking at things differently. You start kind of being able to kind of look at the chessboard from a much higher level. And also, not for nothing, but what you all are doing at Issa Rae with all her businesses, and what JB is doing with, the way he's diversifying and democratizing and dimensionalizing from a talent perspective, right? We own the sauce. We own, and we give it away like it's free candy. But we really have to take ownership of the genius that we were given, and we have to find ways to empower it. We're at Cannes, and if there was any manifestation of cronyism and nepotism from an industry standpoint, it would be Cannes. And I don't say that in a way that's, I'm not trying to insult anybody, but it is what it is. Like, these folks have built these companies and these holding companies for hundreds of years, for decades over decades, by working with each other, by working with the people that they like to work with, by working with people that get them, that look like them, that talk like them. Right. So, and I don't think, on some level, there's nothing wrong with that. The problem is that it shuts us out. So what do we do about that? Do we try to always encroach on what they're trying to do? Or do we go and build our own? And we can work with the people that look like us, that we want to work with, that we have a shorthand with, that are from the same place, and we can tell similar stories with. So, let's even it out.
I love that. And very quickly, just to build on that, I know a lot of founders, the founder of Shea Moisture, the founders of Mael, have, received backlash for exiting and selling to like the L'Oreals and the P&Gs, the Unilevers. How do you feel about that? Is it warranted, or is that backlash the very reason why you built Heirloom Holdings in the first place?
We have so much to say about it. We'll let you do it, because I'll be here.
I love this conversation. I'm not sure. That's true. All right, just in case. Yeah, maybe. It's the birthday mic. I love this conversation, and I'll try to be brief because I could totally ramble for a very long time on this. I actually love the fact that Mael scaled her business and sold it to P&G. I know, hold Lisa Price from Carol's Daughter very close to my heart, as one of my aunties. Yeah, Tristan Walker, who bought Bevel to Kitchen Table as our agency. So we work with Bevel. I love that they scale those businesses because that's how businesses work, right? And a lot of people don't understand that. They're just like, oh, it's a sellout. I was like, no, they sold up. They sold up and they were able to create the same business trajectory that every other major brand does. And they are able to then employ more that look like us, provide more. It allows our image, our expertise, our excellence to scale in a way that had they stayed small, they would just stay small. And so I think it's beautiful what they've done. Hats off to them. What I would say is that it should inspire, and a part of what Heirloom is doing is to create more giants and to create more options. And so what Monique is doing with HOORAE and what Issa Rae is doing, we need more Issa Raes. We need more, Black and brown billionaires and brilliant minds and spaces. So that way, a Mael, a Tristan Walker, Lisa Price, they have options for where they want to sell their company. It doesn't have to just be the big six or the big four or whatever other the big number is, but there needs to be a Black-owned P&G. There needs to be a Black-owned WPP. And so we're doing it in this lane, and I hope that it can continue to grow and swell so we have more idols in the way that other industries and other communities do.
Love that. That was beautiful. Thank you. And Monique, we love the work that HOORAE is doing with Canva and Walmart. Can you tell us a little bit about how those partnerships came to be and how they align or are parallel with your priorities of diversity and inclusion?
Issa has made it very public how she feels about lifting others up and supporting Black and brown, especially Black, but Black and brown creators, creatives, and so that the sort of give back in that sense, professionally, not necessarily. I think philanthropic give backs are great, but she is very interested and very passionate about how helping others rise and succeed in the way that she was able to. And so when we were working with a partner and a way for us to find common ground or synergy with what they're doing often, means, of course, our values aligned, but exactly how they're aligned and do they really believe in the benefit not only to our community, but to business and the industry by investing in talented people and not just giving one opportunity, but creating a real pathway and pipeline for development and opportunity to continue to rise. Because I think that's certainly something that we see in the industry. You get one shot, and if you're not prepared or ready for it, then that could be it. And it's not fair because these are careers and roles and businesses that require a lot of experience. You don't have to have necessarily 2 decades worth of experience, but to have seen and know the rhythm and culture of like being on a set or in a room with executives or things like that you won't just get from a class or reading a book. So with Walmart, that one was focused on creators in particular, acknowledging that even though Black creators are driving culture, engagement, growth on social channels, social platforms, that all other things held equal, they are paid less than their white counterparts when it comes to brand partnerships and things like that. So, wanting to create a program that can prepare sort of the next generation of creators to actually know how to work with a brand, know when they're ready for representation and what to look for and how to really be a professional when it comes to a creator. Because they're, of course, experts on their own content, what resonates with audiences, but it is a whole other beast to then be able to work with a brand or an agency and deliver on what their needs are so that you can keep getting those checks. And then with Canva, they were really passionate about empowering entertainment professionals and really having a foothold in the entertainment world. And so they really became the powering force of our Find Your People program, which is all about giving first-time filmmakers, cinematographers, costume designers, et cetera, the opportunity to work together and create a short film so that they're actually getting that, again, on-set experience, those opportunities that where you have to have had a job to get the job, giving them that job, but holding their hand along the way and pairing them with really skilled and talented, experienced working professionals to guide them in that process. And we were able to use Canva tools to help them create their pitches and all of that, but they were a great partner in helping us execute this program.
Love that. Thank you. So the next question is for you, JB Smoove. As a talent, somebody who represents talent, we see our creators wanting to become brands more than just being sort of like an assembly line for brands. So my question for you is, as your career has evolved as talent or as an entertainer, what % of the marketing mix for you personally comes from acting and being an entertainer, and then what % of the marketing mix is coming from working with brands? Like, how has that evolved over time?
Oh, it's definitely evolved over time. Well, I will say this much, that my personal income, I make bank. You make bank. No, I'm not even gonna pull punches on it. It really is. It's the best decision I ever made, and I go back to square one. As someone who started on BET and Def Comedy Jam and all these shows that springboarded all these amazing Black actors and comedians into the forefront, HBO became a major part of our movement. BET was great also, but not on the magnitude of what HBO is, of course. HBO's huge, but it gave us a platform, and I always did this from the very beginning, and I've always told everyone who I started with, even in the moment, I said, we got to be able to walk into any room, and be able to expand, not get rid of our demographic, but enhance our demographic, but know how to explore the other demographics so we can see how they did it and come back and tell secrets. You know what I mean? You got to be able to walk into a room and communicate with these big brands. You have to be able to do it. And from the very beginning, I always told my friends, I said, hey man, don't get stuck just doing one thing. I got friends right now who still do stand-up, but they would love to be in my position because I made sure that I was going to be able to understand where everything was going.
Yeah.
So, and that's just being a business person. And that's not taking everything that comes to your table. That's picking things. Some things, the power of no is powerful. Yes, it's great, but sometimes no is not right now. No, but no right now, but maybe later on, But I think that, based on, like Dabo said, I do very well because because of that, I do very well because I know what to pick. I only jump on things that I believe in. That means my voice even sounds different. It doesn't sound like I'm doing it just for a check. It sounds like I love this product and I love what you are doing with the product. And I love how it's helping people. I just try to find something that I love. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that me being a part of like White Claw and Crown Royal and Caesars and all that stuff, but it's for a certain demographic and a certain age range. I have my adult stuff and I have my, my stuff I do for young people. And I spit it out. I'm Spider-Man, damn it. But I think it's very important. So I say that because the deals are made in that office.
Yeah.
Not in your head.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'll say that my major income, as much as I am on TV and film, my commercial work is by tenfold because it is a true business. It's not just me in front of a camera performing, making someone else's dream come true, right? That director has a dream. You know, I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna give them 20%. If I come to a set and I give you 50% of myself, you know what I mean? That's not even fair. That's like, why am I doing this if I didn't want to be here? And that's the same thing I think with business. Why get into it if you're not true to it? You know what I mean? And I've made that. I definitely have made that a priority in how I work with these brands. And I just speak to them like I would speak to any business person. You know, I'm not gonna pull back. I'm gonna tell you, look, if I do this, I need, number one, I need to write it.
Mm-hmm.
Two, I need to co-produce it. You want me, you want everything. You want everything and that comes with me. I'm trying to grow. You know, you can give me a check just for being talent. Yeah, you could. I can take it. Or I can say, nah, I need to write my voice. I need to co-produce. I need the same thing you're doing. I'm doing the same thing you're doing.
Yeah, right.
And that's growth. That's how you get growth. Everybody can go in there as talent. A lot of talented people out there. But are they thinking long term? Are they thinking what can they do, you know, to better their business down the line? You got to plant seeds. And I use the word seeds because seeds can grow into a bush, a little plant, or a big ass tree. You just got to have patience and watch it grow. Everybody wants things right now. Everybody wants it right now to the point where they're stepping on toes and burning bridges, and they don't care. They want it now, you know. And I'm just from that era where we watch it grow, we plant the seeds. That phone call could come tomorrow to work with you, and it come a month from now, a year from now, 5, 10 years from now. I run into people, even at Cairns, I've worked with 15 years ago. Damn, JB, now we can work together. I'm at another place now. Oh man, your movement is amazing. You watch that tree grow, and now it can bear fruit. You know, so
I couldn't agree more. That was a great answer. Snap for that. My next question is for you, Dabo. And maybe everyone can provide some insight into the situation because I think it's something that it's a shared experience for people that look like us. Can you tell us about roadblocks you faced while promoting inclusion, just in your career, leading up to where you're at now, and then now with Heirloom Holdings? And
For me, it's just I do it a little bit. I'm soft spoken, y'all. I need a hotter mic in here. No, I've always, you know, I remember when I was a little kid, I always wanted to be in a gang.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like really a gang that was violent or like, you know, but I just wanted us to all have the matching jackets. You know what I'm saying? And to like roll. Gang.
Love a matching jacket. I'm glad that's where you went with it.
I'll, you know, roll 40 deep wherever you go and like, you know, just have that intention and that same mind, and we're here for the same reason, and we're all putting our efforts and energy behind it, and we all recognize the what everybody's amazing at and lean into that. It's like the Wu-Tang Clan. But you know, unfortunately, my gang dreams were never realized. But
Still tight.
Still tight.
So now I'm free.
JB, what are you doing after this? We can start again.
about to call 38 more friends and get that gang together. How about
Gotta
that?
start small.
Let me know the color scheme. I'll tell you about it.
We're all the gang, guys. We're all the gang. So no, but for me, it was always like when I had opportunity to, you know, put people on or people that I admired or people that might not have had that opportunity or that have been working really hard to get to a place but haven't been given that opportunity or access. You know, I was always very intentional that, especially once I started working in multicultural advertising, that was my intention. I couldn't imagine working at a multicultural shop doing multicultural work and not working with people behind the scenes who didn't look like none of that made sense to me. So it was strange. It was strangely revolutionary when I first started working in multicultural, that it was like I wasn't really taking calls with directors, or, I wasn't really bidding these folks. And although they might not have had although they might not have had the experience, although they might not have had the relationships in it, I was going to divert and do my best to provide opportunities so those folks could get on. And it wasn't always met with open arms. Even folks within the agency, within the community, within the culture is like, no, well, listen, that's all good and everything, but we're trying to make this commercial the best that it could be. Why can't it be the best that it can be with us? I mean, that, you know what I'm saying? Like, we have to kind of deconstruct some of that stuff. And you're not always going to win those fights, but you always have to be willing to fight those fights. And there's a time and a place for everything. And oftentimes you gotta give today so you can get tomorrow, as JB's talking about, the long game, the marathon that we're all on. This is not a sprint, but I think, listen, I do believe in the power of unity. I do believe in the power of cooperation. I do believe in the exponential power of fellowship and bringing folks together. And so it's starting. The wheels are starting to grease. Once people see it can work, like oftentimes we even said, like when we were talking, like at one point Gabrielle was working on Ciroc, and I'm going to pass it to you for this, but there was a point in time where the Ciroc, the folks that were working at Ciroc, there was like, well, how do we get Black people to drink Ciroc? I thought they was drinking it already. I didn't know it was a problem. But turns out, though, that there was a bit of a problem. Do you want to?
Where do you want me to take this? I think finish that story, and perhaps where I think you're going is that where we think that it should be an automatic, oh, it's Black owned, that's what I'm going to get. Yeah. I just want you to know, y'all, my toilet paper is Black owned. Every beauty product I wear is Black owned. My lawn, like everything. Yeah, yesterday I was wearing Christopher John Rogers while I'm down here. Like, it takes all of us to intentionally do it, and you can't wait for other people to save us. But I think what you were saying was how do we get Black people to drink a Black brand or Black owned brand? And it was bizarre that there was this, just statistics and the demographic of who was doing it. And unfortunately, a very senior leader in the room was like, well, the people want to drink Casamigos. They want to drink the stuff that is on it. Yeah, they want the sexy bottle in the pictures that, that feels unattainable to them, perhaps. And so we need more Black and brown status symbols from a business perspective, from a brand perspective. And it goes almost back to the original conversation of like, we need more options. Young filmmakers should be able to sell their movie and produce their movie with JB or Issa, not just go straight to the primes of the world. And so, and same in advertising, a lot of younger creatives coming up, they think they have to go to one of those big agencies. I was there, I get it. But there are options. My mother always taught me to position yourself so you have choices. You want to go to Harvard, you want to go to community college. You want to go to New York, you want to go to France. You want to go work at this holding company, you want to go work on this holding company. You want to do this, you want to do that. And so as long as we can help create space, and by creating space, we create more optionality and good options, right? And so that's also the thing is showing people that there is other tables. And, the legs are sturdy and the food is good. And there's always a seat for you. Yes, and the seasoning, I've been carrying my salt and pepper around out here. And at Kitchen Table, we say when we all have a seat, we all eat. And so that is the reason.
Yeah.
Love that. That was amazing. Thank you. And for you, Monique, my question, or I guess maybe statement/question is, obviously diversity and inclusion are at the helm of everything that HOORAE does. Have you had brands approaching you looking to kind of like buy into diversity? and as opposed to, truly embodying it from the inside out? A, that's the first part of the question. And B, in those situations, or have you ever been in a situation where you're like, you know what, like, this doesn't feel right. Like, we're going to pass on this one. Does that happen, or has that happened?
Oh, sure. I mean, I would say in those instances, it doesn't go very far because it's very clear, right off the bat that this isn't going to work out because they don't really understand what we do, who our audience is, what our audience wants. And those things come out in conversation, or even if we receive an RFP or something like that, and you're like, oh yeah, this feels very, this is not us. This is not us. And I think also because while we do work with brands, we also are a brand and we have our own audience. And so I think that in addition to just the mission and culture of our company, we have an even greater, I feel, responsibility at times to make sure that anything that we are putting our name on, because it will be visible, that it is something that our audiences would want or would matter to them as well. And so we also think about how we're honoring and reaching them and making sure that, when we are putting something out on our social channels, it's not like, oh, this is embarrassing. Can we find a way to, minimize this? Like, we want to be proud of the work that we do.
Love that. Thank you for sharing that. And maybe a quick, part 2.5 to that question is, what are your thoughts on cancel culture? And have you ever been approached by a brand that was in the doghouse and, with respect to being held accountable, but the intentions were pure and they were looking to sort of, build back credibility again? Is that a type of brand that you would take on or work with, or?
Yeah, I think I could say a lot on cancel culture, and even just the term, I feel like really should be two. There's accountability, because people do need to be held accountable in some way. But I also think intent matters a lot. And I think we should have room to forgive people, or for people to, ask for forgiveness, or try to, make up for things that have past transgressions. Now, some things are unforgivable. So but more so, in comments that might be an opinion, a thought, maybe ill-informed, or could come off as hurtful or even hateful, but the intention was not to do that they can own up to their mistakes and learn from them. And that I think there's power in seeing someone learn, that makes us all better. However, I think as a brand, the people that you work with reflect your brand. And so, depending on what it is, the circumstances, who it is to and from, all those things kind of weigh into whether someone can continue working with a particular person. But I will say, as far as a brand who has gone through something like that and then coming to us, of course, it would depend on all the circumstances, but brands are run by people. And so who are the people that led to that thing happening that people got canceled for in the first place? Is it a leadership issue? Is it the culture that they have led? And I don't think that we need to be someone's saving grace especially for a for-profit business. But I do think at the same time that people can correct their mistakes. And so I would want to just see that if we were to work with a brand who right now is doing good, that they have been accountable to when they weren't.
So this is a question for everybody really quickly. What advice would you give to young creatives, young entrepreneurs looking to make their mark in the industry in 30 seconds or less? We can start with you.
I say be original, talk about what you know about. That's the most consistent way you can create your momentum into adulthood. Just be original. Just, listen. Listen more than you talk. People got a tendency to talk a lot. You know, show, improve in what you do and how hard you work and how hard you go at it to build something original and something that you can claim to be your own. Inspire others. It's nothing wrong with meeting new people. As a young person, you may end up working with that person in the future. That's an investment in each other. And sometimes it's even easier to do something if you got someone saying, "Oh man, go for it. Get yours, baby." You hear that? That keeps you going. Not hating on each other. It's a lot of hate going on and a lot of holding each other back. We're all in the same game. We all just want to succeed and get out of whatever we are in and get there. But why not help each other? Push somebody once in a while. We just said this earlier, we talked about this. Someone's success doesn't mean you're a failure.
Yes.
And people think because someone's winning, they're going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, it's showing you it's possible.
Right.
So invest in each other.
Real quick, I would just say stay curious. Just keep asking questions, keep digging deeper, get comfortable being in uncomfortable spaces. Don't ever lock yourself into a status that you think you are or you think you have to pretend to be or a job that you feel defines you. None of that defines you. You are what God put on this earth as a unique snowflake in this world. Like there's no one else like you. You're one of one. So stay curious, stay on your path, stay on your journey, and you will blossom.
My advice to young creatives, and it's probably the most fulfilling part of my job when I get to teach and talk to them, and that is it might be hard advice, but to try to unwire ourselves from a lot of the things that we've been taught or learned, and there's an unprogramming that needs to happen in culture, particularly in the career, creative and corporate space. We all think we have to go to the agency that has the big name on the door. We all think we have to stay there for at least 3 years. We all think we have to reach a certain level of acronyms in our title before we can jump. We all think you got to give, I think I gave 3 months notice to my last job because I felt bad that I was leaving. And so there's just from a professional and business perspective, there's a lot of unprogramming that I want creatives to think, and I always say don't wait for the work. If you have an idea, go create it, because people are not always going to ask you to do a thing. Don't wait for the brief. If you have an idea, I always say never put your pen down, because you never know what can happen. One of the biggest, most successful campaigns I did for Ulta Beauty, they didn't ask for it. I presented it at the back of a holiday meeting, and I was like, we should take all this money and give it to Black and brown beauty brands. And they were like, okay. And then they came back, and it's now changed their business, and it's changed the lives of so many Black and brown beauty brands. And that's because I just never let anybody else tell me no. Never tell yourself no. Other people might tell you no, and that's okay. But never tell yourself no first. And so that, I would love to take credit for that, but it's truly my mother.
I agree with everything here. I would also say that when, to your point, Gabrielle, about corporate jobs, there can be a high emphasis on, especially as you're starting out, where you are on the ladder. Are you reaching certain milestones by a certain age or after a certain period of time? And I can tell you, and I'm sure everyone here, there are people who maybe started out really strong and they took a different path, and someone who maybe didn't had a later rise, and it doesn't matter so much. So what I tell young people starting out is to, instead of focus on I want to get this by this time, is I want to learn this by this time. So actually almost creating a business plan for yourself each year with each new job. These are the things that I feel like I need to learn and experience in this role. And then seeking out those opportunities. They may not be exactly in the job description or given by your manager, but the opportunities are around. And so with each job and thinking, or each position or promotion or jumping to something else or trying something new if going in with if I learn these things, then I will feel, accomplished, or that I'm ready to then do the next thing. It is much more fulfilling than, I got the title bump and it's so fleeting. You're like, but what does that mean? And then you're just trapped into status and your identity being your job instead of look at all the things that I have learned and that I can now do.
Bars, yeah, I love it. Thank you so much, Monique, Gabby, Dabo, and JB. I learned a lot from the conversation, and I hope everybody got value from today's conversation. And on that note, I think that's a wrap.
Thank you.